So Excadrill. Excadrill is ground and steel, which is pretty good typing. It's resistance wise it's pretty good, but it also has a decent amount of weaknesses. Like almost everything to this typing is either it hits something to this typing. It's not normal. Like Ghost, Grass, Ice, and Dark are the only things that hit it normal, and everything else either is weak, immune. It's either weak to, immune to, or resistant to. Like it's only weak to fighting, ground, fire, and water, which is not great because ground. I would say ground is probably the most common. Ground's really common. Then fire and water, but especially fire for like Ferrothorn and stuff like that. But it's immune to poison and electric, which is good. So you can switch it in on an electric type because they don't have much coverage anyway. Or a poison hit, or especially if they're scarfed or banded or something into a poison or electric type, you can switch them in. But it's resistant to a lot: normal, flying, rock, bug, steel, psychic, dragon, and fairy. So you can switch in on those hits and eat them up. They won't do a lot. Like you can just switch in on a lot of things. And it has a lot of health at 110 health, but it has low defense and special defense. It has 60 defense and 65 special defense, which is weird because most ground and steel types have higher defense, but whatever. It has enough health to where it can survive hits just off health alone. 135 attack's really good. It's really high. I think it's like the third. It's the third highest, I think, behind like Kelcritter, like behind the 140s and Haxorus. It's like the third highest. There's a couple 140s though, so it's not really whatever. It has 88 speed, which is decent. It's not the fastest thing, but it's decent speed, and it has 50 attack, special attack, which doesn't matter. But its abilities are Sand Rush, Sand Force, and Mold Breaker. So it has two really good sand abilities, which also can keep your opponent guessing. Are they gonna have the Speed Rush? Are they now really fast? Or are they gonna have Sand Force and just do way more damage in the sand, or in sandstorms? It also has Mold Breaker, which is Mold Breaker is a very situational ability, but it's really good on ground types. It's really good on ground and steel types, which Excadrill is, because it goes through disguise on Mimikyu, so you can one-shot Mimikyu, which is really good if they don't know how Mold Breaker works and they think, oh, they're safe behind disguise or whatever. They don't think you have Mold Breaker. It shows at the beginning of the turn, but in case they miss it or something, you one-shot Mimikyu. It also it forces Mimikyu to either attack you or switch out, and Mimikyu without Sword Dance can't really one-shot you, especially if it has the speedy nature. But you could also, which is really good. Also, it gets sort of levitates, so they are weak to ground, but they have levitate. Like Rotom, for example, it's really good. If you outspeed Rotom, it's really good, but you run that risk of Rotom outspeeding you. But it's actually, you run the risk because you can't have the speed from Rush, but whatever. Sand Rush is also really good because it doubles your speed, and with 135 attack, having the speed doubled, you can just put investment. Yeah, I would say you can run an investment, but you don't need the nature anymore, but then you outspeed a lot and you do a ton of damage. Sand Force is just good for more damage, but you rush being slower and getting outsped. But one way to run Excadrill is pretty much bulky attacker. This is Dynamax Excadrill. Like, you come in, you Dynamax, and you finish something off with Rock Slide. And you finish them with Rock Slide, and Rock Slide brings the Sandstorm. So you have a Sandstorm for 5 turns with that. Then you come out, you have the double speed, you have 135 attack, plus you're Dynamaxed. So the Sand Rush doubles your speed, so you outspeed everything. And then you have your Dynamax, Earthquake, Iron Head, which you have Stab, Excadrill and Rock Slide, which you hit everything neutrally at least. Like, where is it? You hit everything neutrally. Like, nothing's resisted. You hit everything neutrally or super effective, which is really good with these 4 moves. And then Life Orb for some extra damage with this. This is also a Scarf one. This is a Scarf one. You don't have to run speed. You could not run speed, but you run the risk of something faster running Scarf in the speedy nature. And then, or you just run the risk of something faster. If you don't run the speed, if you don't run Jolly and you run Adamant, you run the risk of something faster than you running the speed, or something faster than you just having a Scarf, and then they outspeed you. But with this, if they don't run speedy nature, you outspeed them. 135 attack, you already have a lot of attack. And then just Earthquake, Iron Head. Again, this is the best coverage. You can drop one of these moves for either Fissure or Horndrill if you want to run that one-hit KO. You know you can't KO them, whatever. That's just the last-ditch effort move if you want. But this is the most coverage. You can also run Poison Jab. You can also run Poison Jab in this last spot. Poison Jab or Shadow Claw, just depending on what you want. I would say you have to keep Rock Slide because regardless... I would say keep Rock Slide unless you're replacing with Shadow Claw because Corviknight. Corviknight causes a lot of problems, if not, because he resists these two. He's immune to this, and he resists Iron Head. He resists X-Scissor. He's immune to Poison Jab. So you have to run either Rock Slide or Shadow Claw or something for Corviknight so he doesn't just switch it in and wall you out. Especially as a Choice Scarf, you got to be worried about that. This is also a Dynamax one. This one's a little weirder, but with Sandforce. So you want to come in with the Sandstorm already set and Dynamax, and then Aerial Ace for the speed. I would run Speedy Nature. Again, it's the same as the Scarf. Do you want to outspeed things that are faster than you with a Scarf, or just anything faster with a +1? You need to have the Nature if they don't. But you come in, you Dynamax. Hopefully it's in something slower so you can Dynamax and one-shot them, or take them and finish them off. Something weak and slower than you, come in with Aerial Ace and take them out. If not, you could come in, you could Dynamax. You could Aerial Ace, they live, they hit you, but they don't KO you, they just drop you really low. Maybe a super effective hit or just a hard neutral hit. And then you get the Lychee, so +1, and then you have +1 speed and attack, and you just outspeed and try to one-shot everything with the Sandforce, which gives these 3 moves an extra 30%. Plus the Lychee Berry, plus the +1 on attack. We'll do a ton of damage, pretty much. So that one's a lot more. That's a lot riskier, though. Or you could just not Dynamax and take the hit before you Dynamax to try to get the Lychee Berry first, and then just Dynamax to try to get... You could just hit them, they hit you, activate the Lychee Berry, then you Dynamax Aerial Ace to take them out, get the speed. And you have the +1, you just have low health, but at the same time you'll be faster than everything, have a ton of damage. But you have to kind of get the Sandstorm first. That's the only thing about this one. But... Also, something else you could run is Rapid Spin. You could also run like a Rapid Spinner one, where like, oh, your whole goal is they set up, and you bring them in, you Rapid Spin it away, like against maybe not Ferrothorn. Maybe not against Ferrothorn, because you'll take the Iron Barbs damage a lot, but like, if you bring them in and they Will-O-Wisp you or something, Lumberry gets rid of it, you Rapid Spin, and you get the +1. As long as you're not Ghost, but you Rapid Spin, you get the +1 speed, which is really good. Then Earthquake, Iron Head. Whatever you want in that last spot. Even like X-Scissor without the Rock X-Scissor is really good, I think. Never mind, ignore that. I don't know, just whatever you want in that last spot. X-Scissor, Rock Slide. Rock Slide's really good for... I would say Rock Slide just for Corviknight, actually. Forgot. Just to cancel Corviknight, I would say Rock Slide. But Poison Jab, whatever. If you're not worried about Corviknight, you can run something else. But that's one way to run him. Rapid Spin. For the speed. And you get another benefit. He also learns like Break Break. If you want to Dynamax and try to get the +1 if you have the Speedy Nature. But like then you won't be too fast, but Break for the attack. Shadow Claw is just another coverage move. You could run Fisher or Horndra if you just want that 1-8 KO move as part of your thing. And Smart Strike's just a steal move that can't miss, so it's not a bad move. But Excadrill gets a ton of special moves that are really good, like Earth Power. He gets like Sludge Bomb and stuff too. He also gets Hone Claws. You could do something like Hone Claws, Earthquake, Rock Blast, because Rock Blast have 100% accuracy. And as long as it hits 3 times, you'll do more than Rock Slide. But you can also run Rock Slide for the flinch, if you're faster. Like, yeah, it learns like Sledge Beam, Steel Beam. They're really good moves, but it's physical. Swords Dance, the thing about Swords Dance is you're just slow. So you're not fast enough to fully take use of the Swords Dance, or bulky enough. It also learns Toxic. Stealth Rocks, again, you're not that bulky, so you don't really want to run that. But Skull Bash, it's on here somewhere. Skull Bash, not a great move, but like, it's really not, because you can hit twice and you'll do more damage than that. But also he learns where is it? High Horsepower if you run doubles, so you can also run that just in case. You could run the high crit run, but I would run the high horsepower if you run doubles, just so you don't damage your teammate if your teammate doesn't have Levitate or something. But that's Excadrill, and I hope you enjoyed.